That's all I could figure out to do.
That's what I do, man.
So I figured out. That's it. Or figure crow out. So what you got in your hand?
So we got a whiteboard up on the wall here in the chapel. And we have, the first sheet says needs, and on it is Narcan, is the last thing on there. And then we've got a whiteboard that tells the other stuff we're taking, which is shelf-stable food, water, gift cards from Lowe's, Ace Hardware, Visa, MasterCard, and then our PayPal and Venmo. And then it says reassess community needs, which is constant with us. Mm-hmm. But you had said something about this is my beautiful house. So we also have up here some cards, business cards from different therapists, because we have given material to people who go, oh, and by the way, I'm a therapist, and we have several therapists in the building. Mm-hmm. So this gal came by today, Catherine, came by yesterday, and she brought this poem. So we've got it. It's got her business card on the back, how you can reach her. But she said, I wanted to come bring y'all this poem because I think it really fits. And we, I asked her if she would read it to us, and she did. So I'm going to read it to y'all, and it's because of something Alicia just said. It's by Jessica L. Walsh, and the title of the poem is When My Daughter Tells Me I Was Never Punk. I say, hun, my being alive is punk. I made my life out of grudges when I saw the odds placed against me. When my role was to marry a man who'd kill me and give me my hot young death, a guy named Charles, who would have, and nearly did, the day I said, crow you, and threw his keys in the snow. That was punk. When I called a nice guy who'd loved me steady and thought, what if I can try staying alive? That was punk. When I had my last drink and surrendered the scene, that too was punk. And yes, I miss the me who would be dead because I was a bottle rocket, a pipe bomb of a good time. But my being alive is the middle finger I never put down. I did not let these days go by. I clawed each one from dirt. When I get my nails done, I am cleaning weapons. When I buy food, when I fill the tank, I am threatening to survive long enough to piss off 1 million awful people to be alive in spite of. I am promising to stay flagrantly alive. This is my beautiful house. I am this beautiful wife. How did I get here? I say, by my fucking teeth. Isn't that great? Isn't that great?
I love that. Yeah. Although I love the song too, and it was.
I love that song.
Yeah,
I'm a big Talking Heads fan.
We did that song. We being the band, the Green Beaners.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about that band?
No. Well, a little bit, but tell me about it.
We would drag that band out whenever we wanted. We would just, if there was a show and one of us got invited, or if it was a show and we all got invited, whatever, we would drag that band out. We'd bring it back out. It consisted of Jay from Tennessee. We call him Chafe and Jay, and Selby, and myself, and a really good guy named Chris DeFatta, who's one of the Chris is yes, he's the one who had the crow incident at his house that he was scared about after he came to the cottage. Y'all will have to just find that episode. I can't remember which one it is, but it was an interesting story. I thought he's musical genius, and he's got a self-created band called Null Value.
Ooh.
And it's not probably the kind of music that I would listen to normally. It's really kind of out there stuff. But it's got a fan base, and he somehow is selling records all over the world. Not a lot, just, as just him. This is him in the basement. That's what you can do now. And Craig was in it. As DeFatta. He's an awesome dude. You'd like all of them. I think you might have met most of them. at this
most
point.
Of them, a lot of them,
Yeah. So it's all the gang, all the Manions and me. And we'd bring that band out, and we'd practice real hard, and we'd go and just blow everybody away because they had never heard of the Green Beaners before. Because, see, we would just play only every now and then when we felt like it. And so we went to one thing. I'm not going to name it because I still am friends with them, but it was out of state, and it was a festival, or not a festival, but I don't know what you call it, where they'd have a bunch of bands in one afternoon and evening.
Like a music fest?
Well, sort of. But I mean, it was in the middle of town, and it wasn't really a festival, because there weren't vendors and stuff. It was just people coming to see the bands.
Yeah.
And we went there one year, and we blew them away so hard that they said, "Don't do that anymore." The band that was supposed to be the headlining band, they were scheduled to come on after us, and because nobody knew who we were. There was like 6 or 7 or 8 bands that evening, and we were just some other name that nobody had heard of, and we kicked butt. Those people loved us to death, and the band, we upstaged the band. So I'm sorry, y'all. Sorry, not sorry. It was so fun for us because it was like, I don't know how to explain it, but that audience came alive. And it's because we walked out and did some stuff. And that was one of the songs, anyway, that we did. Many, many days go by. You're supposed to say, let the water run in now.
So y'all did that song. I love that.
I forget who sang. I think Jay sang it. Yeah. And he was doing the same as it ever was.
Same as it ever.
And he was so cool. He was wearing a powder blue leisure suit from the 70s with a wide white leather belt and white patent leather men's shoes from the 70s and a baseball hat.
I gotta tell you, my grandfather died in 83 or 84, I can't remember which. And he had a collection of polyester leisure suits that, of course, we went through all of his things, and we sent them off to the Goodwill, the things that were, there wasn't Goodwill around here then. I don't know where it went, to some thrift store. And when I think about how he dressed, I wish I had kept just a couple of those suits. Oh, yeah. The leisure suit with the matching vest and the shirt and the tie. I wish I'd kept just a couple of them and cut them down to fit me. Because, oh, my God, I would have looked so wild and so fly.
I love the clothes from the 70s and the 80s. And the 80s, to me, still feels semi-contemporary. Because I graduated high school then, but still, anyway. My mom made a polyester bright blue jumpsuit, one-piece jumpsuit, and it had a turtleneck, big old bell bottoms, and it was bright blue, and it had a paisley pattern kind of embedded in it.
Oh, I'm in love.
I know.
I am so in love.
And I think it was sleeveless because it was a turtleneck and sleeveless. It was total 70s. You could put a really long vest with that and just go out and disco all night.
Oh, my God.
Did you disco, or did you think disco sucked?
No, I thought disco sucked. But also, I was in graduate school when disco hit hard, and that was the same time new wave music hit hard, so I was much more into kind of, as we called it in Texas, nouveau wavo, new wave music.
Nouveau wavo.
So that was more kind of listening than it was a dancing.
Yeah.
I miss dancing. I'd love to go dancing, but I can't dance like these people do now with a lot of, I don't know, it's exhausting looking.
Well, nowadays, they have coaches for that. Or they get in front of the television and they practice it on TikTok or whatever.
I guess.
You and I,
we just flailed around.
We just had fun.
Like, whoa, 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 whoa.
I learned a few moves. I learned a few moves, but
I probably still got them somewhere deep inside.
I love to dance.
I do too. I love to dance. I love to sing. Y'all, we got Rhiannon Futch, who is one of our friends and fans, sent me a violin, a fiddle, that she had not used in a while, and we got to donate that to a musician who had lost their instrument.
Oh, that's so good.
And that made me so happy, but it also made me get my damn fiddle out. Also because I saw Finn McGill. He's a wonderful fiddle player, and he was at that funeral last Saturday.
That's what you were saying.
And the last time I saw Finn, he was probably about 8 or 9 years old. He's a little bitty boy. Now, of course, he's tall and statuesque, and he's a remarkable fiddle player. And I don't know, I think it was a combination of the two things that I got the fiddle out and I cleaned it off and tightened the bow, rosin the bow, tuned it, which is always a pain in the ass. But I think that's one of the many things in the reset that I'm going through that I'm going to go back to is playing the fiddle. I haven't played it in literally years.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, when has music ever hurt anybody?
It never has.
No. It is always a healing thing. And if nothing else, when you're learning, you're embedding these techniques and the things you learn in your semantic memory.
Though I will say, I've heard some bands that hurt me.
Yeah. But they weren't hurting themselves.
I've heard some bands that hurt me, and I've heard some individual singers that hurt me too. Hurt my ears, hurt my pride.
They weren't hurting themselves, though, were they?
Not. They were not hurting themselves. They were probably pretty happy.
They were getting music healing.
God, I was at a festival, and they love to do what festivals call a bardic circle, which is like an open mic. And, then they are told at the beginning, everybody got to sign up on the sign-up sheet. And they're told then, you got the X number of minutes. You got 5 to 7 minutes. So it's one song or two songs or whatever. This one guy, he was high as a kite. I don't know what he was on. He might have just been drinking. I don't know. But he would not get off the stage. And he was terrible. And he'd stop and go, oh, no, that was bad. Okay, let me try this song. This song's going to be better. You're going to like this one better. And he'd start another song. And I swear, I wanted to jump up on stage and just throw him off. And finally, good sense prevailed over good manners. And somebody came out and said, you've got to go now. You're
crazy.
Just an irritating piece of garbage.
He just wanted to be on the stage.
He just wanted some... I swear to all that is holy, what most people need is just some damn attention. Some good attention is best.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, if you can just get somebody looking at you because you're cutting a fool or being an idiot or... we weren't going to talk about the election, were we? Anyway, people just, they need to feel like they're being seen and heard. Seen and heard,
I guess. Listen, it's not all what it's cracked up to be. I mean, the more visible you are, the bigger target you are. For people who are for people who are crows and
crow holes.
That's right, crow holes. Yeah.
Don't be a crow hole.
That's right. That would make that donut they call the cronuts. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, we are all alone because the temple's closed today. We're closed on Tuesday and Thursday.
It's just us and the spirits.
I know, so we just sitting here giggling and laughing and cutting up.
And making our plans. So what are y'all planning? What are you planning for the holidays? What are you planning for the future? What would you like some guidance on?
Or what would you like to guide us on?
Yeah.
We could use that for sure.
For sure. That's for sure we can. It's that time of year. You either love this time of year or you just can't stand it. Because pretty much everybody I know has got somebody that they love who has passed away during this time of year. Yep. Pretty much everybody I know has some idea of what a perfect holiday season is supposed to be. And it never lives up to it. And so some people are disappointed and hurt and sad. And some people are like, okay, we'll do something else then.
Yeah, I think a lot of people carry through the childhood memories.
Yeah.
And if their childhood memories were good, then they tend to get disappointed if they haven't kind of refreshed those memories as they've gotten older.
Yeah.
And then other people, if their childhood memories were terrible, it's like everything's gravy now. You mean nobody got drunk, punched somebody else? Woo!
I guess so.
I count that as a win.
We had very different holiday seasons, me and you.
Yeah,
we did, but we both have come to this place, I think, where we love the holidays, but not because of what used to be.
Yes, and I'm very. That was a very conscious decision on my part because I could have hated Christmas.
Yeah.
And I've chosen to find some of the humor in it. Some of y'all have read that short story I wrote years ago about my family always. My brother and I were the ones that had to go up on the mountain and cut the tree every year, and every year it was too big. And the year that I remember the best, and there were never any good trees. There were all those old nasty yellow pines. So we go up the mountain, and one year it snowed, and I was all in my Walton's head. It was like, oh, this is going to be great. And so I had to take my brother because I always had to take his lazy ass everywhere I went. And I went up the mountain with the pony, and my vision was I was going to tie the tree to the pony.
Okay.
And then come down the mountain with it.
With the jingle bells in the background?
Exactly.
Okay.
And it was going to be lovely. And I'd been dressed in some beautiful wool, red wool thing. Yeah, it was going to be great. So as it ended up, of course, I had a little hatchet. So I had a hatchet, had a pony, and a little brother.
Oh, wow.
In the snow, going up the mountain.
Oh, man.
I know. Well, it is never going to be a Hallmark movie, I promise you.
Okay.
So we got up there, and I found a tree, and I kind of eyeballed it because, it's hard to measure a tree. So I kind of eyeballed the tree. And then I took the little hatchet. It was one of those my brother was in the Weebelows, and it was a little bitty Weebelows hatchet. I don't know what I was thinking, but I wasn't thinking. So it took, I don't even remember how long it took to cut the damn tree down. And then the pony, I had to somehow tie it to him, and he was not having it at all. And then my brother got cold.
Wait, he being the pony was not having it?
The pony was not having it.
Oh.
Then my brother got cold. I'm cold. And he started crying. So here's me come down a mountain with a pony and a tree that I had to haul the tree because the pony wouldn't let me tie him on. And my brother, who had to be holding the hatchet because I had two hands. I had a pony and a tree. And he just stopped and cried and cried. And I'd yell at him. And he dropped the hatchet. Pick up that hatchet! Come on, we gotta go. And I bet we were not even a mile away from home. So we weren't very far.
But still.
But it was like a lifetime of coming down that damn mountain with a tree. And I get home with it. My mother puts her arms across her chest, and she goes, well, that one's just too tall. And I swear to God, if I had the hatchet, I'd be in prison today. But my brother still had the hatchet, and he was crying, and my mother was babying him. Well, why did you take him up? Because you made me take him up.
Oh, God.
And then I had the fantasy of, if it only been me and the pony, how easy that would have been in the snow with my little companion, Silver, and my tree. Oh, my God. It was, and that's the funny part of the disaster that was Christmas in my childhood. That's the best part. That was the best part of the story, I promise you.
That's dark humor.
Oh, my Lord. I will never forget that.
I don't know what my daydreams about Christmas were, but I know I loved it. I just loved the music. To this day, I love Christmas music. I really do. And most musicians I know do not want to play it.
I know.
They don't really like it.
I love it too, though. I love to sing those Christmas carols.
Oh, yeah. Our buddy Craig has written some of the best Christmas music. And I don't know how you write a song in 2020 whatever that sounds like something from 1951 or so.
Ooh.
He just did it. It just, I'll send it to you. It's about the soldiers in World War I and what happened on Christmas Eve.
Oh, yeah, I know about that.
That's
the truce, the Christmas truce.
Well, that's the name of the song. It's Truce. I think it's called Truce 1915. So you wouldn't think it was a Christmas song, but it is a Christmas song.
That song makes me sad, and then it makes me mad.
Why?
Well, because they took that time and sorry, spoiler alert. They took time out on Christmas Eve, I think, or maybe it was Christmas Day, I can't remember now. And the Germans and the English came together and they played soccer. They played football together.
Right.
And then the next day, they went back to killing each other.
Yeah.
And it just makes me mad because look at them. They were young boys who were far away from home.
Yeah.
And they shared their rations. And it was this wonderful day of peace. And then, by God, the top brass sent the word down from wherever the hell they were and said, well, it's time to start killing each other again. Well, hope you had a good day. I just hate it.
Here we go.
I'm sorry.
I feel it.
Here I am on the soapbox again.
Here I am. Up on the stage. I can't help it.
Singing
I'm glad.
my songs again.
You know, I have not watched very much television in the last consciously because I was experimenting to see, well, maybe it is the light that's getting me from the TV, the electronics.
Yeah.
So for the last 2 nights, I have not had any television on at all at night. And yep, I slept better. I did. But the night before, I listened to all these reaction videos.
Oh, my Lord.
And laughed.
That's your new thing?
It is.
Reaction video.
Anthony Oliver, that dude with the red hair and the red beard.
Yes.
Richmond from Richmond.
Yep.
Anthony Oliver was one of the videos that got reviewed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or I can't remember exactly, but I do remember them not understanding the language and it had to be translated to them what he was singing.
Uh-huh.
And I remember one of them saying, because it was like 3 a.m. or something. And I remember one of them saying, he is sad for his country. He is sad for his people. Yeah, I know. You never know what you're going to see on those reaction videos. But they're the most bizarre thing ever. If you had told me 30 years ago that I would sit up and watch other people have emotions, is that not some George Orwell weirdness?
It is. It is kind of Orwellian. I get stuck on those. I sent some to Alicia this morning, some funny little videos, and I sent them to my daughter and my son Outlaw. Because they've got one of those blue heeler dogs. Oh. And there's so many videos about blue heelers doing, what blue heelers do. Yeah. So I just keep sending them, here is the blue heeler that should be out as a cattle dog taking care of cows, but instead it is spoiled rotten on the couch and whining because you won't give it, I don't know, treats. Anyway, I send those too. But sometimes there are things that just make me laugh. Like there was some little kid, it was probably a kindergarten class, and the teacher was doing clapping with them. So she'd start out slow, clap, 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 and then they'd copy her, clap, 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 and it would get faster and faster, and she would like double time and things like that. And there was one little boy in the front row, and the first time she went clap, 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 he just started giggling. And every time it would get a little bit faster, he would just midway through it, he couldn't even clap, he'd just start giggling. And he had the funniest laugh, kind of a... Oh, and I tell you, I watched that thing 3 or 4
terrifying.
times. Well, I watched it 3 or 4 times because he was laughing so hard. And finally, the little kid sitting beside him, just leaned over and put his arms around him. And they just sat there together, just laughing like little hyenas. It was wonderful.
I love watching videos like that.
Golly.
I saw one today where it had a little girl coming out, and it was some sort of dance class that they were doing, and she was wearing a pair of sunglasses. They all were, some little routine. And she was just, she was sassy. She was good.
Oh, my goodness.
So talented.
Ain't we all sassy, though, lately?
We're sassy.
So we'd get together, because we get together and just kvetch.
Oh, I like
we
that.
We do some kvetching.
Yeah, we're good at it, too.
We are very good at it. Y'all get the tame version of this stuff we do.
The well-edited.
And we just started saying, well, so-and-so is just about as useless as tits on a boar hog.
Yep. Now, that's an old saying. I don't even know if it is anything more than regional. But
I don't know.
For those who are not familiar with that species, tits on a boar hog.
Because as you know, mammals regardless of whether they can bear young, they all have nipples.
That's right. But we were referring to the folks who could be helping. And for whatever reason, they were just useless.
They couldn't do anything because they were so ruined themselves.
Yeah.
They just were devastated.
Yeah.
And some of them, and I hope my friend does not recognize themselves in this comment, they weren't even here. They weren't even here.
Yeah.
They were far away on a vacation somewhere, and they, Western North Carolina is in a peck of trouble. Yes, but you are not in it.
Yeah, be glad. But they're not glad, are they?
No, because they feel guilty. They got survivor guilt. Well, damn, I got an answer to survivor guilt. So get your ass in gear and do some work.
Yeah, for all of that. So the thing is, we're not without compassion and empathy. And I'm sure if those of y'all who listen to us, you've probably heard us say, you've probably heard us say trauma brain is real, and we recognize that. But it doesn't mean that we don't get frustrated occasionally, regardless of what has caused the inaction on the other person's part. We'll get frustrated, and then we calm our act down and we go back out in public again. Okay, that's how we get it off our chest, and that's been our version of letting off steam. Now I can't wait till things are well enough for us to let off steam in the normal fashion.
So see, we have been, I know it's going to be hard for y'all to believe, we have really been curtailing our opinions about a lot of things.
Yep.
And I know, given how opinionated we both are, that sometimes that looks like that's it. But it's not. We are so hurt and so angry, and let me just say the word furious about so many things that y'all never get to partake in because we're trying to be sensitive. Mm-hmm. We're trying to be. Yeah.
The folks that we are lucky enough to call our listeners, they're an awesome group of people, but I wouldn't want to lay some of that crow on them.
No, me either.
Yeah. And
we love y'all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know y'all know that, but it doesn't hurt us to say it. We really love and appreciate y'all, and all y'all are, and all that y'all do.
Yeah. And we know that you're sticking with us. Sometimes when you maybe get bored of the podcast or something, you're still there listening. We appreciate it. That's real love. That's the real thing.
That's family.
That's right.
Well, you've heard that story 10,000 times.
And you can tell it yourself. You know, every now and then I'll be talking with Ilsa. I think it did happen the last time I spoke to her. She reminded me of something. I said, she was like, well, don't forget such and such and such and such. It was from 3 years ago.
Lord of mercy.
I know. It's crazy to think that, hey, we have some folks out there who have listened to every single episode. And if you're one of them, would you drop us a line or let Ilsa know? Now, Ilsa runs... She's the queen of the Weirdlings.
Queen of the Weirdlings.
Right. And the Weirdlings discuss everything. It's pretty uncensored. And they've grown to be friends through these years.
Yes.
So that's a great thing that's come out of it. But we'd like to know if you've bothered to listen to all of them, or if you've wanted to listen to all of them. Whoops, is what I should say. Because you're few and far between, and we would like to reward you some. So just let us know. We would greatly appreciate it.
Oh my gosh.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Have I listened to all of them? I wonder if I have.
You probably have.
I would. Yeah, I'm sure I have. And you do, of course, because you edit all of them.
Yeah, and I try to listen to them afterwards. Mm-hmm. And it's usually in the car. My schedule sets it up to where I will be in the car driving from Buncombe County to Henderson County, and then I'll listen to it if I can get away with it without any phone calls. And so sometimes it'll take me 3 or 4 times to listen to us because we run our mouths.
We really do. And boy, you talk about phone calls made me think. Tomorrow, I'm driving to Wilmington to be part of the Southeast North Carolina Herbal Conference.
Oh, yes.
I'm very grateful about that. By the time y'all hear this, of course, I will already be home from that. So I'm going to be on the road for 5.5 hours in either direction.
Wow.
And is anybody going to call me? People have been calling me every day, all day. And when I'm on the road and I could really use the distraction of somebody calling me, is anybody going to call me? Hell no.
Oh, well, I'll call you. You know
I might call Alicia just to bug her. I was like, hey, what you doing? And she'll go, you're in the car, aren't you? You're on your way to the beach. Yeah, I'm on. Come on. You want to come with me? Come on.
Yes, I do.
She'll be like, yeah. Well, you're already in Greensboro, so I guess that's really not going to happen, is it? Lord of mercy.
When you go, do you take the route that sends you by, and I'm trying to remember the name of it, the place that has all those billboards for miles before you get to it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
It's not called Ponchos, is it?
I'm going a different way than I have gone to the coast in the past. I'm going to go down 74 the whole way.
I think that might be the way.
Because I love, here's the thing, maybe you're thinking of Shelby. I do love me some Shelby. And I swear, if I was ever to leave my beautiful mountain home, I think I'd move to Shelby, North Carolina, because that place is the weirdest damn place. Sorry, y'all, from you Shelbyans. Shelbyans, but Shelby, I remember driving through there, going to some event up in Catawba, and I drove through Shelby, and I met a young fella who is a farmer, and he has a farm north of Shelby. And I said, what is the deal with Shelby? Every time I drive through her on a Saturday morning, it's hopping. And he said, well, it's Shelby on Saturday morning. It is always hopping in Shelby on Saturday morning. Now, the rest of the week ain't so hopping. But Saturday morning, you can get some stuff done down in Shelby on Saturday.
Wow.
And since then, I have been in love with Shelby.
Who would have thunk it?
I never would. And, my daughter lived in Charlotte for many and many a year. And we would always go down 74 to go through Shelby. And Gastonia, which used to be the murder capital of the country, but I believe it's calmed down now. I
have some family out in Gastonia, and Shelby, I always think of barbecue because they have a couple of good barbecue places there. Yeah. And they also have this place that has vintage fabric. So
yes, they do.
If you want to get,
there's a nice little Chinese restaurant down there that I've met some people at different times. Yeah, I'm all about Shelby. Oh. So that's where I'd go if I could ever get my butt out of the mountains. You didn't have to crow me. I didn't even say bad words.
That's right. Well, pretty soon, my hope is that most of the damage will be repaired as far as traveling.
Yeah.
We won't have, roads washing out and stuff like that. And it'll be a good year, I think, to go take a one-day quick little road trip somewhere here or there.
Or a 2-day.
Or even a 2-day, maybe.
2 week.
Yeah.
Y'all, I went through, took one of our volunteers home yesterday at the end of the day, and I went through Biltmore Village for the first time. Because I'd been to a funeral down that way and had gone down... I'd kind of go a back way and just saw a little bit of Hendersonville Road, but I drove right through Biltmore Village yesterday, and that was from Biltmore Avenue down into there it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. It was hard, and I found my hands on the wheel just shaking. At the level of destruction and just trash everywhere.
Yeah.
Just, and then you look at it and go, that used to be that Starbucks. That used to be whatever.
Osaka's is gone.
Well, it's all boarded up. I reckon they're going to clean it up. And
I don't know how they could. I saw a picture of it right afterwards, and I was shocked.
Yeah, well, that's the way I drove in. I looked at the Wendy's. The water's up to the roof line.
I know. I couldn't believe it. Is this still open, or are they going to open it again?
Well, they haven't tore it down. So
wow.
I'm reckoning so. And the Long John Silver's, which has been my guilty pleasure, anytime I felt down or anxious or whatever. I know it's terrible food, but I go to Long John Silver's and I have whatever the special thing is. It's easy to eat, and that has been like my comfort food. And I just figured it was gone because when I saw the pictures from the flood, it just, I mean, those buildings aren't tough. You know, they're not very stout buildings, but by golly, it was boarded up. The windows were boarded up, and it looked like they weren't going to knock it down. They're just going to reopen it.
Okay, I mean, I'm all right with that. The bridge behind them, though, is very old.
It is.
And even before the flood happened, it was scheduled to be updated, you know, which probably means tearing it down.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it made it through, but I've driven on it since then, and it's
crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
And that little bridge down at South Tunnel Road, right after you pass Walgreens on the right, and Olé Guacamole on the left, which used to be Frank's.
Yeah.
The bridge there, like you're going to Target, and that was just ripped to pieces.
Oh,
so
man.
if you're going to Target now and you're coming from downtown, you get on 240 and you get off like you're going to the nature center, and you go down that windy little road till you get to Target because you can't go over that bridge.
Oh, you know, has anybody told you, do you know anything about how the nature center might have done through this?
Oh, I've not heard a word about it. I saw some pictures. I mean, the animals are up higher than the river was.
Yeah, for sure.
So if the old rec park had been there, boy, that would have been devastating.
It would have been underwater.
But I haven't heard anything one way or the other about it.
I'm going to try and find out.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at with it now, is the information we're trying to gather and make our decisions or gather our opinions about the future of this area. And that sounds dramatic, but it's also true. This area has been altered forever, whether we like that or not. That's just the truth. The water sources are different, a lot different now. We've learned things about, you know, the water, how it comes. I think all of us have focused more on water than we ever have, or I know I have.
Golly, if that's not the truth,
I
tell you what.
Yeah, but the terrain is different. It's not just the trees that have come down. The terrain is different. Rivers and creeks have moved a little bit, and there are dips and the valleys, dips and damaged areas from rock slides everywhere. And 1,800 rock slides was the last count I heard. And that was, I mean, I can't really comprehend it. I can't really comprehend a 4-mile-long debris field that moves.
No, me.
Yeah, So.
And I know I've said this in a lot of different places, but it was the area of effect was the size of the country of Belgium. Mm-hmm. And right before we started recording, Alicia and I both were getting a little choked up because we are never going to be the same here in Southern Appalachia. We are not, because we have allowed human activity to poison so much of the soil and the water here that it's going to take a long time for that to naturally clean. And we have no hope, frankly, that anyone will come in and intervene on the behalf of the land and the soil. It will be individual farmers and river keepers that are doing the very best they can, but we are ruined here, and that is going to take a long, long time to get over.
Yep. If ever. I'm not even planning on getting over it. I just am planning on, I'm just coping. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. And your advice earlier to me when we were talking about that subject, it hit spot on. And there's so many things that we do have control over in our environment. So it's like, at least we can help not make the damage worse. And that's the best we can do sometimes. So let's not make the damage worse and we've developed some habits, or at least I know some folks who have developed some habits that are good, and maybe they'll keep on doing that sort of thing where they're not being wasteful and they're careful, because there's nothing like having to figure out what you're going to do with your trash for the last 2 weeks. There's nothing like that to inspire you to have less trash. You see?
Right,
so
right.
we've learned some things, and let's just keep on educating and learning ourselves and educating those who want to be educated about it. And that's all we can do right now.
Well, and of course, my fear about it, and fear is way too big a word because I know what's going to happen, is that people start to get complacent again and they get lazy and they get comfortable, and then they forget what it means to be able to flush your toilet without going outside to the rain barrel and getting a bucket of water to flush it with. They're going to forget.
Yep.
They're going to forget.
Yep.
And when we forget, that is our doom. Because we need to remember. Even if it hurts, we need to remember.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with knowing that for the rest of my life I'll be affected by this. I think that's what I should expect. If I wasn't going to be affected by it, what kind of person would I be, really?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think everybody else will too, and I'm not going to whine about it because it's not going to help at all. What's going to help me is feeling like I have some control, even though I don't have any control over the weather or the effects of the weather or the catastrophe that occurred after that. But you know what? I can do some things here locally, and that'll help me. It will. It will.
And we can speak out when what we hear from Arkansas or Texas or Idaho is, well, in Western North Carolina, FEMA never even did show up.
Bullshit.
And, well, in Western North Carolina, the government completely abandoned them. And all that crap that y'all are hearing out there. And, yes, FEMA is slow. It is a government agency, and they are too damn slow. And the answer to that is to look at FEMA and figure out how to make it work better.
Yep.
The answer to that is not to stop funding FEMA and to be stupid about that.
Yeah, we weren't abandoned by FEMA.
No, and we're still not. They're still here. They just opened a thing in the Asheville Mall.
We've got a team for everybody.
So for all those people that are outside this region, and I'm going to say, number one, the crow whiners. Oh, I'm still deeply affected by what happened, even though I moved out and far away. Shut up. Shut up. And if you can't make a donation to somebody on the ground that's doing the work, then please do us all a favor and shut up. Go somewhere and do your own damn healing and leave us the hell alone.
Yeah, yeah.
And number two, all y'all that have got some kind of damn conspiracy, well, I need to get my social oomph out here by telling you about the latest conspiracy. Get your boots on the ground. If you're here, and if you're not here, send money. Yeah. Or sit down and shut up. I don't think I have a number 3, because Alicia started laughing.
I was just thinking of that line that Spock said to Kirk, where he said, don't mince words. How do you really feel?
Y'all, I got to have my nerd cred the other day. I was in a meeting where a whole lot of people, well-intentioned people, were, frankly, whining a little bit. And, oh, this and oh, that. And I just waited and waited and waited. And then I blasted him with where I am and what I'm doing and all that. But I got to say, and if you don't mind me quoting Star Trek, I just want to say, so we can lay around here and we can wallow like a garbage scow in front of a warp-driven starship, or we can actually get the crow dilithium crystals operating so that we can move forward. And you could see some of the people are like, how dare you say that to me? And the others are like, hey, that's old school Trek.
That's Trek, man.
Dang.
Hardcore. Let's listen to her.
Get on, Montgomery Scott. You got this now.
Scotty.
Ooh.
I loved him.
Me too.
I met him.
Did you?
Yeah, we went to a comic show thing in Knoxville, Tennessee. And met him, and we actually sat and got to speak to I forget his name because I'm on the podcast, but the one that played Chekhov. I forget his name, dagnabbit. But he was a super nice guy too. Even
what a cutie!
It was he was still a really good looking man, even though he was older at the time. But it was odd to hear him speak without an accent
because he doesn't really.
Right. And Scotty was so nice. I never realized that he was missing a finger.
That's right. Yeah.
I didn't realize it until I actually got to meet him, and I thought, oh, I'm so glad I got to meet those guys. I'm so glad I got to go to these nerd fests.
We're nerds. Well, we can't help it. Yesterday, one of our volunteers, I was telling that story, and she said, "Well, now, are you a Trekkie or are you a Star Wars person?" I said, "Both." I don't feel like it's like. Do you love the Beatles or do you love the Rolling Stones? Yes.
You have to choose?
Yes, I do. And so, yes, both of those. And I'm just going to draw all y'all's attention to Star Wars right now in this time that is our time.
Okay.
So I want y'all to be thinking about Star Wars.
What about
And I want you to be thinking about not Princess Leia, though she was a hell of a woman. I want y'all to be thinking about General Leia. Yep, that's where I am.
And I want you to think about Padme.
Yes.
Because you know what? She laid down. She started out great. And then somehow she just laid down and turned into a wimpy female. Oh, I'm just going to cry some more. And once she started doing that, she was less than useless. She was like tits on a borog then.
That's right. She was not in her beautiful house, and she was not her beautiful wife.
That's right. So, and if you don't know which part I'm talking about, go watch them all.
Go watch them all. You can watch them all.
Yeah. She was beautiful, though, and especially in the outfits. I thought they did a great job with that.
Oh, I would love if all the priestesses connected with Mother Grove had like a beautiful outfit, like her women did, her handmaidens.
Her handmaidens,
Oh, my golly. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Oh,
we could just wander into someplace looking like well,
yeah.
And then we go to Dune.
You knew I was going to say that.
I did.
I guess it's coming on this weekend on Cinemax.
Oh, I'm going to have to watch
the new series, Dune Prophecy. And it's all about the origins of the Bene Gesserit.
Which we are. Just face it.
I wish, man, I'd like to have that kind of self-control. I'd like to be any of the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah.
Because they're the top of the line.
We all can be that. That's a matter of having a deep spiritual practice and walk and you talk, which I talk about all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
Crow time. Walk you talk and have the courage of your convictions. And I don't think I said this last week, but I have a colleague who was saying, I guess after the election I'm going to have to take all those pagan bumper stickers on my car.
Oh, yeah.
And my immediate thought when the election results came in is like, I need to put some big old pagan and witch bumper stickers on my car.
We get it out of our systems, and then we go out and smile at everybody.
Well, we all have so much work to do.
Yeah.
But it is important, and I'm going to circle back around to what we were talking about, 20 minutes ago, about the holidays that are coming up. Now, most of us missed the fun, and that's air quotes around that, of Halloween, because
we were busy surviving.
We were busy surviving. And so I intend to find the joy in getting together with family and eating all the things I love to eat at Thanksgiving and to think about the solstice, because now we are in from November the 1st until the winter solstice happens. And we all noticed this when we went back from daylight savings time to regular time, that the nights they start early and they run long.
Yep.
And I am going to rejoice at the return of the sun as the days get longer at the winter solstice.
Yeah.
I'm going to do all of that. I'm going to do that very intentionally, and I'm going to talk about it and drive y'all crazy in my social media. Because the other thing I've got going on is that I've got a brand new book coming out on January the 8th.
Yeah.
And
it's getting here fast.
It's getting here fast, and I want to remember that book is all about surviving the time that we're in now, the time that is our time.
Yep.
So there's a whole lot of joy to be had, and there's joy with this other Wyrd Mountain gal Dang, we get through it, don't we?
Yeah, we're a weird, odd couple.
We are. They should do a TV show about us on Netflix.
Oh, well, they could. And then we'd have to bring, what's his name? Buck Owens in.
I'm
that
Buck.
we were talking about.
I'm Roy. Let's go.
Well, he
right now.
He had a video on. He had a cameo on The Odd Couple. Did you know that?
Oh my God, I hadn't thought of that in years. Yes, he did. What an amazing musician he was.
Oh my goodness. I can't remember exactly what it was he played. I'm going to look that up.
I'm looking it up right now.
It was jaw-dropping. And it was I don't even know what the storyline was because I didn't watch The Odd Couple, but somehow I'd seen it, maybe just to watch him or something. But now Buck Owens and Roy Clark were two very talented guys. And from what I understand...
Had an odd couple, too.
They were. And from what I understand, they have a real interesting story. I mean, Hee Haw is a very interesting show. I love-hate it. Okay? I hate-love it. Love, hate, love.
Are you sure it wasn't Roy Clark on the album?
Oh, it might have been. It is Roy Clark, yeah.
Clark.
I just know the two names together. But yeah, he was fabulous. I remember he was wearing like a white button-down shirt, and he was sitting in a chair in their living room or something like that. And the two men who were the Odd Couple guys were just enraptured by his talent, and I was too. That guy could play anything he wanted. If it was a stringed instrument, he could make it walk and talk. And of course, I think also Prince could do that. How about you?
Oh, yeah.
And Brian May can do that.
Oh, my goodness. Now you done gone.
Uh-oh.
Done quit preaching and gone to meddling with Brian May. You know how I feel about him.
I think you love him, don't you?
I love him. I've loved him since Queen.
I hope he's okay.
Well, last I heard he was. I kind of check up on him periodically.
Yeah.
He had a terrible gardening accident where he hurt his butt. I don't remember what he did. But, I mean, we're old now. And you're not as old as me, and I'm not as old as Brian May.
Not even close.
No. But I'm telling you, things, we get wore out easy.
That's right.
People make fun of me now because, I go home from here and I make supper. And maybe I wash the dishes, which is still hard, by the way.
Yeah.
And then, I fall asleep on the couch watching TV.
Oh.
And then I go to bed at 11 like a little old woman.
And I did the same thing last night. Listen, Ilsa told me something that I need to pass on. And this was actually really useful information. So what I do is when I'm washing dishes, I boil a big old spaghetti pot of water. And then I have another one that I boil as well. And so one of them, the cooler one, is what I rinse the dishes in, and the hotter one is what I would wash them in.
Yeah.
Well, that's hard on the hands.
It is.
She said, just wash the dishes with whatever water, and it doesn't have to be boiling. But then at the end of it, dip them in boiling water after you're done.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, duh. So y'all think about that. If it feels okay, look it up. I haven't done any research on it because I just heard about it. But I thought, well, that's pretty dang practical, isn't it?
It's remarkably practical. And, I don't even know what to say about it, but I used to be fanatical about I had to wash the dishes every night. I never wanted to wake up to a dirty kitchen, and I don't know where that comes from because my mother didn't hesitate.
There was something about that back in the day.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just, I like when I wake up and the kitchen's clean, but now Joe has decided about every other day he fills up one of these water bottles that we have emptied because we still ain't got potable water in the tap. And he has filled it up with tap water, so he's got an experiment going on, and it's been going on for a while, and there's no room on my drain board because it's got all of his, magical science on it. So because of that, I will just put a dish, and we don't use a lot of dishes because I'm not doing a lot of cooking, and I'll just put them down in the dish pan and leave them for a couple of days. I don't put them in water. They just lay in the dish pan. But, I ain't got hardly no room because of all the bottles of water the science experiment is taking up.
I have not had to worry about that, let me just tell you.
You're not living with a scientist?
Well, no. But I'm been living a little bit on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and they just don't make a big mess.
No, they really don't. They don't.
And I don't know why I've got other food, but that's what I've been wanting. So hey, that's what I mean.
Same way, I'm not eating the way I should be eating, and what will prove that is in a few minutes we're going to go live. We're going to do a live on the Weirdlands page of us eating a piece of pie. But, I did get my appetite back finally, so I do eat a little bit. I was down, y'all, to about 153 pounds, which for those of you who weigh 120, that sounds like, oh my God, you were so fat. But, I was 270 at one point,
what?
20 years ago.
No.
So I was down pretty low, and I've gained back now to, I was at 158, I guess, this morning when I weighed. But I just don't, I'm a stress faster, not a stress eater. And so I don't want to eat. And we were really blessed, and I'm going to say that, blessed, because our volunteers, and I'm one of them, for many weeks, we ate from World Central Kitchen, and that was really helpful. I usually couldn't eat much of it because it was either pasta-based or something I didn't eat, rice-based. But, boy, they fed us so well and so faithfully, and now they're gone. So, I go home, and I'll have a cup of tea and a little something.
Yeah.
Fix Joe some supper.
Well, I'm always used to just cooking for myself or for Mom occasionally, and I just haven't felt like it, and so I'm not beating myself up over it either.
No, me either.
Yeah. I put a lot of miles on my car in the last couple of months, and
you have been such a blessing with delivering stuff. Y'all, we had so many adult
adult incontinence supplies.
Yes, incontinence supplies. Thank you. I couldn't remember because we just loaded Alicia up a couple times, and she went out with them and took them to places they were needed.
They were so grateful. Half of those, and I didn't realize it, and it just happened that way, about half of them were for men. And those are evidently hard to come by.
Really?
Yeah, and more expensive. Huh. I didn't know it either. And then there were some that were unisex, and then a few others. But that was the stuff people just lit up, and I can get it. I understand. During a hurricane, when you have no water, no way to wash clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you're taking care of your mom or your granddaddy or whatever.
Yep. So that was putting the miles on my car. The reason I'm telling you this is because I may put some more miles on my car this holiday season than I had planned. I am going to be taking Mom to Tennessee. We got some kinfolk there, and she's not Mom. That means that Mom will not work herself sick trying to get food ready for Thanksgiving, because we have tried for years to get her to not do so much. But you cannot, when it's Thanksgiving, Gail is going to get in that kitchen and she is going to cook. And it doesn't matter what you bring, she's got something else to cook. And so this year she can't because she's not going to be.
Well, but I guess I would see that it gives you a purpose in life, doesn't it?
Well, shit, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Except that I know she makes herself sick every year, and that's what we're trying to avoid.
And, I'm always going to defend her because I am your mother's biggest fan. I love me some Alicia's mom.
Well, boy, let me tell you, she is a friend of the fruitcake that you sent.
Good.
She's a friend of the fruitcake. I'm Jameis. I'm a friend, but she had that thing eaten before we got home.
Well, it was some.
It was wonderful.
Malacca, that's you, my girl.
That is, but
that Collins Street Bakery fruitcake from Corsicana, Texas. And y'all need to send us some fruitcake. Collins Street Bakery, because we were just telling everybody it's such a wonderful fruitcake.
It is.
But then I saw Claxton fruitcake at the grocery store yesterday.
Yeah.
And it reminded me, that's a pretty damn good fruitcake, too.
That was my mother's favorite. It may be the Collins Street Bakery fruitcake now. I mean, she really loved it. She couldn't stop herself. She ate the whole piece.
I can't believe people that hate all that old-fashioned stuff. It's like, that's too candied fruit. Well, I guess you need to do something fancier than that, but I really don't. So, have at it.
My dad, for Christmas, he used to like these orange sticks, is what they were called. And it's like about the size of my finger, cut with orange jelly covered in chocolate.
Yes, ma'am. Delicious.
Oh, he loved those things.
Dark chocolate is the best.
Yep, that's what he said.
That's right.
And
now I'm a fan of your daddy.
Oh, you would have loved my dad. You would have absolutely loved my dad. I guarantee it. He rarely spoke. When he did, you listened to him,
Huh.
And he was a good person.
Yeah, my daddy too.
Yeah, they don't make them like that anymore.
They don't. I mean, how would we know? Because we had the best daddies, and now they're gone.
Yeah, that's where I am with it.
They left their good stuff with us.
Yeah. Well, it is the bar by which every man afterwards is judged.
By which every man afterwards fails.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, if my daddy had been home when I took that damn pony and my brother up the mountain, here's what he would have done. He would have said, well, baby girl, that'd be easy if we just tied that on the pony. Well, why don't we go? And he would have gone, and he would have taken charge, and we would have cut a tree that actually fit. And he would have carried my damn whiny brother, and it all would have been fine.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, there you go.
I wonder what my dad would have thought about the hurricane, because he was very focused on weather events because of his work.
Yeah.
And he was just fascinated with hurricanes specifically. I don't know what he would have thought. Anyway, I guess he's watching right now, so maybe one day I'll find out what he thought about it. Anyway, we need to start wrapping it up.
Do we?
Yeah, look at that.
Because, y'all, it's raining again outside.
It's wonderful.
So we're, and it's finally November rain.
Yeah.
So it is not warm rain. It is cold and nasty, but we needed the rain.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that. And it feels like the right time of year, finally. It feels like November. Now, I'm going to the coast tomorrow where it's going to be very pleasant in the low 70s and no rain.
It'll be harder to see the meteor shower tomorrow because of the full moon.
Right.
But you'll still probably be able to see it if you happen to wake up and
with any luck, I'll be down on the beach. Mm-hmm. And I'll just be looking up and crying like a baby or drunk or I don't know.
Screaming into the void.
Screaming into the void. Y'all, we are here for you, and we know you are here for us, because we ain't done with any of this. Mm-hmm. Whether you feel like the election didn't go the way you wanted it to go, there's work to do. Mm-hmm. If you are here on the ground in the Southern Highlands of Appalachia, there's work to do. And we welcome you to join us in doing that work.
Mm-hmm. We appreciate all the help that you have been. And you know what? This podcast hasn't even started yet. I just realized there was no knocking.
Oh, well, then we'll have to do a goodbye.
Yeah.
Well, Mrs. Alicia, thank you so much for the coffee and the pie. I really appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
I hope you have a good weekend, because I won't see you till maybe Sunday school at church on Sunday.
You watch that traffic now, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
I hear these people are crazy out there.
They drive like they got their driver's license at the Sears and Roebuck.
Yep. I want you to make sure and tell everybody I said hello.
I will do that, and you take care of yourself now.
I will do it.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, darling. Bye.